What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, one of your hosts, as always, with me.
Not so sickly Liam today.
Absolutely, brother. And today we are diving into episodes 5 and 6 of Apple TV's Bad Monkey. What did you think, brother?
Well, confirm the fact that he is his father.
Yeah,
so
confirmed.
That is a good piece of it. That was, I think, was that episode 6? Because that's when the kid comes back.
Yeah. Episode 6, which we will get to here in a little bit, but yeah, it's basically centered around, we find out who was driving the Bronco or suburban-looking vehicle that almost killed Yancy, and then we find out whether or not Bonnie really did love that boy that she slept with back in the day.
Learned a lot about her, but also learned a lot about the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, she got some excellent screen time in these 2 episodes as well.
She did. To me, it feels like she's playing a role that she's expected to play. And then when her friend shows up, it's more like, oh, I can just be me. That's why we go to a secluded beach, so we can go hang out. And they're drinking, their own bottles of wine?
Yeah, they each have a bottle of wine, yeah.
I was like, is that Boone's Farm? That brings me back.
Yeah, no, I think she hints to it many times throughout, like we're halfway through the season now, more than halfway through the season, up to episode 6, where she's only doing that because it's what she's expected to do. Mm-hmm. And if it was up to her, she would book a flight off that island in a second and go somewhere else. So I get what you're saying there too. But also, we had some pretty crazy stuff happen with Ro that was unexpected. I didn't think it was going to take that kind of crazy turn and twist, and I was kind of disappointed in him there for a minute. But before we get into all that, let's talk about, we predicted that we thought maybe Yancy was getting kidnapped, that he wasn't they weren't going to actually try and kill him because he was the main character. We knew he wasn't going to be dead.
Yeah.
But they actually did try to kill him. So what do you think about that?
I honestly didn't think anything of it because I was like, I know that they can't kill him. There is no way in hell they can.
Yeah.
At least not then. It's not the finale.
Right.
I mean, the finale would be a better cliffhanger for what the fuck, Mm-hmm. Like, are they really going to kill him? But no. Not when it's not even the finale yet, no.
Well, it is the mid-season finale. So they left you on like a huge cliffhanger that way. Because they try to do something huge halfway through a season. Usually most shows will, right? To keep you going.
But for shows that just put everything out there all at once?
Okay. I was just thinking that maybe that's what they did it for. Kind of like hook you back in. Even though I don't think they needed it with the writing of Bad Monkey is excellent. Like the way they're telling the story and things are slowly unfolding and we'll go back in time and jump forward. It's like, I like this, the way they do it.
You'd really like Dark Matter.
Yeah.
That's also on Apple.
I think we've talked about that in the past, about checking it out. Yeah. So anyway, he's not dead, but Nick, we're going to call him Nick from now on because Christopher's identity is no longer available or needed, so they don't even talk about Christopher anymore. But Nick thinks he's dead, and it's kind of like an interesting thing the narrator talks about where it's like it's becoming much easier now that he's already done it, right? Because this is his 3rd person he's killed. So it's like, at this point, getting kind of numb to the whole idea. I thought it was an interesting kind of take on it. And then we find out that he's not dead. And I think the way that they bring him back and reintroduce him was solid. Just so comedic. Shows up soaking wet with no pants in the house that he's been trying to ruin the whole time. What do you think about that? That had to be pretty funny for you.
It definitely was funny. And the fact that what was the thing that he added to it for why he was there? It was something about the safe place.
He was talking about being at a party and that there was something in the water that messed with his mind. I forget what he exactly said. Let us know in the comments. What was it that he blames it on? There was something in the water. He said there must be something in the water. And he's hallucinating basically.
Oh, okay, yeah. Another reason to blame the location so that people don't buy.
Yeah.
But that was funny. But before he even got to that point, I thought it was funny how they were talking about Nick dragging him on the dock and how much harder it was just having one arm.
Yeah.
It was like
6'5".
Kind of regretting it right now.
Yeah. No, that was good too. I think it was funny when he's hugging the guy with no pants, soaking wet, blood going down the back of his head, and he's like, "I live right next door. We could do this every day." It's just and then
I think the dude was kind of into it.
I mean, it could have been. He didn't stop him. The realtor guy actually stands up for himself for half a second, runs out after him to call him out, and then Vince Vaughn, you know, Yancy being the Yancy character that he is, was just like, listen, I'll kill you. Like, anything else happens to these animals, I'm going to do it to you. And he's like, you threatening me? He's like, absolutely, yes, I am threatening you. And if it wasn't clear, it's because I wasn't communicating it well. And it walks like,
that part I like.
yeah.
I forgot
just total badass, calm as hell, just like, I would crush you, dude, like, it doesn't matter. Which is kind of crazy, because like, you think of Vince Vaughn, yeah, he's a big dude, but he's not like super muscular or known for like action roles or fighting. But there's something about him where it's just like, in that scene, you're like, yeah, I don't think you would die, dude. You would get crushed by him.
Well, he's also trained. He's been an officer forever.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. I know some cops that can't fight their way out of a paper bag. Not all cops are trained in hand-to-hand combat.
That's true. I guess that's what people think about military too, right?
Right, yeah. There are people in the military that can't fight their way out of a paper bag, right? So it's like same thing. Because there's different roles. Or right. Because there's different roles they play, right? That's not what the role they play inside of that organization, so they're not trained to do that thing. It's just as simple as that. Not to diss on anybody. Every role counts. They all come together to make a greater whole. But yeah, so I think that was pretty funny. And then goes out to Rosa. She's like, dude, you got a concussion. You need to chill out. And then boom, APB. He's up. He's wanted for arrest. Mendez is after him. Mendez is trying to get his sweet, sweet revenge. Mm-hmm. Interesting stuff happening.
He's one of those characters where you're rooting for his fall.
Well, I mean, from the start, yeah, absolutely. So where do you think, like, you know, obviously we go 2 episodes in, so what do you think of that whole arc?
I honestly don't think we needed it. I think it's just another layer for entertainment purposes and to keep the suspense up. Like, oh no, let's create some urgency here for the character. He's got to get this done while all this other stuff's going on. So I didn't really need that myself.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking forward to how he gets his revenge back on him.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you say that, because what do you think would happen differently if we didn't have the Mendez arc?
They're trying his best to solve the freaking crime.
Right. You know, so I guess for me, let me explain a little bit differently then. Because of the Mendez arc, he meets Rosa's family. He becomes closer and tighter with Rosa. They're actually falling in love. That whole thing happens because of the Mendez arc. The crazy twist with Ro and how his, I think husband, not fiance, right? Husband? I think they're married, yeah. Husband reacts, how Rosa reacts, how all that goes down. And then ultimately also how Yancy gets his name cleared and now is in better standing with the police force again. None of that happens without the Mendez arc.
That's true. I wasn't even looking at it that way for me.
Yeah.
I was just like, this fucking annoying guy again.
I mean, definitely annoying. As far as if you wanted to portray a dirty cop that just pisses you off every time you see him on the screen, the guy did a fantastic job. Because I agree, I just don't like anything about that character. The elevator scene, like, talk about like that stereotypical like power play. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're in the elevator and he's like, you should be with a real cop. Don't mess with Yancy. And then he headbutts her through the body bag. Headbutts him through the body bag.
Yes, that was really good.
Did not see that coming. I thought Yancy was going to pop out. There was going to be this whole like thing that happens. Did not expect the one-hit knockout headbutt from the body bag. That was pretty cool. And then he's like, I don't think that helped my concussion. Yeah, so I think like so far, really starting to paint a picture for us on where Yancy's going and ultimately too like where his like line in the sand is, right? Because we watch him go grave digging in this episode. We watch him do some pretty unlawful things in the pursuit of justice in the case that he wants to pursue. It's pretty interesting.
For me, was more of the Dragon Queen on how she's like outright scamming that piece of property.
Ooh, yeah, that's another one that
I did not like that part of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, is that her grandmother?
Yeah, her Yaya, yep.
Okay. So her grandmother looks like she knows, but she's still keeping quiet.
Yeah.
You think she knows?
Oh, she definitely knows. Yeah.
Does she scam them out of it?
Yeah, she knows. Because she like the questions that she asks her, It's like, oh, when did he give that to you? Oh, that's an awfully large gift. Someone should it's like the way that conversation went, and the fact that she's basically raised her because her mother passed early. She knows her. In my mind, she knows 1,000% what she's doing, and she's gonna let the thing ride out. She's going to see whether or not she does the right thing. The guilt eats her. She wants to see. She's letting her play out but she knows. She knows.
And then we learn more about the enforcer and how she has, she kind of wants a relationship with him once she starts seeing the good. I like you better when you sing.
Yeah, he's got a good voice. The dude's a pretty good singer.
Stop talking, more singing.
Yeah. No, yeah, she's firm, with him, which I guess is what he needs and what he likes, because Chip's not one we saw coming, but is one I like to see, actually. It's pretty interesting to see on screen.
And one of the lines he said was, I get paid to do this. If you want to pay me to do good things, I'll be happy to do those things.
Which comes back to bite him in the ass later, because he's like, where's Neville? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you. He pays me, you don't. So just when money is the king, it also comes back to bite you, my friend. I thought that was interesting. Also,
I've got Jamie Foxx's Gold Digger playing in my head.
What I think was really cool about that particular scene too is that, we've been talking about this magic. And I think that we've tapped into it a couple of times with the Dragon Queen being helping the guy pass over and doing the thing for Neville, which hasn't really paid off yet until this episode. When Yaya was just we should push this boat out and help young Neville, and saves his ass later as Egg's chasing him. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I missed that magic. I missed that.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
They push it out, and then the narrator's she says, let's help young Neville, who's had a rough time or whatever. And then the narrator says something along the lines of little did they know that this inkling to push it out would serve young Neville later, or whatever it is. And then later on, he's running from Egg after the whole debacle and betrayal with the chip with all the evidence on it, and then lo and behold, there's the boat.
Damn, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
good catch.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, the magic works.
And then I guess that should bring us over to episode 6.
Yeah,
where we're seeing.
Before we do, because there was one more scene in episode 5 that I thought was whoa, I can't believe this happened. Eve threatens the daughter, and the dad just completely wow. The way he reacts to that. No backbone, no spine, doesn't care, complete jellyfish in that situation, when it's the one thing in his life that he's always saying he truly cares about is his daughter. And then he was just if you want to kill her, I guess. He didn't care.
I think he does.
Well, he didn't say it in that situation.
I think he's giving her enough rope to hang herself, because he just got caught. Well, he was attempting to influence her, saying, what, you're going to get rid of my daughter? Remember how we left off last time?
Yeah.
Right? So this time, he felt broken then because he thought he got it wrong. So I think he doesn't want to call her out on anything yet, and just let her essentially give her enough rope to hang herself before he does something. I don't think he's going to let it come to his daughter being killed by her.
I think it may happen. I don't know if Eve will do it herself, right? I think she might hire an outside, third party that's not privy, Nick's not privy to. But I do think that ultimately, no matter if the daughter was killed by Eve or not, it would be blamed on Eve, and that would be the defining thing that breaks their relationship. That would be the final straw where he's you had me kill my best friend, you've done all these things, and now you've taken my daughter from me too. He's enough's enough, and he fucking leaves her or kills her.
Feels like we're back in The Boys for a second.
Well,
with how you were explaining
The Boys someone would have already died for sure if this was The Boys, which I can't wait for supposedly our final season. But anyway, yeah, so see, episode 6.
So episode 6 is when that young kid comes back into her life, talks about the
right?
Is it Cody?
Cody.
You're asking me names.
No, I think it is Cody.
Names.
Yeah.
No, me no Cody with names.
Yeah.
But he shows up and surprises them. I thought it was funny how she broke into Yan's house too. She's like, oh, he took away the hidden key. All right, I'm just going to break the window and go in anyway.
Yeah, the narrator does a really good job of explaining like what's going through her mind at that moment. Like she goes there because it's the only place that she feels truly safe. Because Yancy's always given her a safe place to be.
Without judgment.
And then when she realizes the key isn't there anymore, her mind goes to, oh, he's sleeping with someone else, and gets jealous and puts the rock through. And then, because the narrator says, and that thought's all she needed to throw that rock through the window. And then she goes in, right? So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I kind of tune the narrator out sometimes.
Oh, he gives you such crucial information.
I know, I kind of tune him out. I'm just realizing that now as we're talking about it. I think I just tune him out. Okay. He's got one of those relaxing voices as you're talking to, so you're just listening to the tone versus what the actual context or content of what he's saying is.
Yeah.
And so that's where I am with that. But the cabin that they go to.
The family cabin, yeah.
Yes, that's where they reveal outright in your face about him being the dad.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when she went swimming, like, oh, I met your manatee and gave me this advice, and he's like, you met a completely different one. That's not the same one.
Yeah. No, that is funny.
Like, that's not wise. No.
Yeah, he's a great character, the dad. Just like this sage, just like really peaceful, full of wisdom, like very wise, like that old sage character.
That is very much what my dad was, except with a bit of a temper.
Yeah. I haven't seen. Have you seen any kind of anger or temper in the particular character on the show though?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's very passive.
It's very stoner vibes.
100. Like just the way he like talks and stuff is very. I spend my time on the beach and surf all day. Yeah. Even though he doesn't, he's like a fisherman and a avid whatever outdoorsman. But
he's definitely Matthew McConaughey's spirit animal.
Yeah, for sure. The cabin's really cool too. It's got its own little private dock in the back. It's like a nice little place. But we get to see Bonnie and Cody go there to get away from this like detective that's hot in pursuit of her.
Not expecting to run into the dad.
Runs into the dad, but still kind of like hangs out with Cody and tries to figure out where that kind of romance is going, right? Mm-hmm. So they like still kind of doing the little date thing, even though the dad's kind of third wheeling it while he's there. Which he's still trying to do his own thing too, but he's there. But through that whole thing, she like kind of starts to think that maybe I do love Cody, and maybe Cody is my future, and maybe this is like the answer. No. Then she reads his book.
He's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, and the narrator even says it.
Yeah.
That he's just the opportunity and the stepping stone to the next safe place that she needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the nail in the coffin for that is when she does read the book, though. And she realizes, like, she's expecting to read, like, this elegant novel of, like, and it's just, like, a young boy writing in his journal. Mm-hmm. And she's like, uh-oh, like, this isn't good. And then she has the conversation with the father out back, and he gives her the wisdom of like, yeah, you broke that boy. Like, you did. That was you. And then she steals the airboat, which is freaking awesome.
That doesn't happen until the detective shows up, and the detective's like, hey, do you know where so-and-so is? I'm not going to say a name because I don't remember. And he's like, no idea who you're talking about. I'm like, oh, he's just going to protect her. And then she gave him the different name.
Yep.
He's like, oh, right out back.
Yep.
And then they get out back, and he's like, oh, and by the way, I want to report a stolen airboat.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Hilarious.
And still, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, no skin off my back. It's not that serious. I'll get mine either way. I'm good.
Yeah. No, he doesn't care at that point. So, what were your thoughts on Sonny, one, tricking Ro, and then Ro actually folding and getting Yancy arrested? What did you think about that? His best friend, his buddy, his partner was the reason he got arrested. But the circumstances leading up to it are also rock in a hard place. So what do you think of the whole thing?
He had a very difficult situation there. So for him, he was threatened to pretty much lose everything that was supporting his family.
Yep.
His husband doesn't make a lot of money because he's a public defender, as they kind of threw in your face there. And so he was looking at protecting his family, his immediate family.
Right.
And eventually he came to the right consensus of, I'll do this to protect me right now, while waiting for a time where he can actually help out.
Do you think that was his thought initially, or was it Rosa and his husband, like, basically being like, you made the wrong fucking choice, dude? It's for him to be like, I got to do something about this.
I think he knew it to begin with.
Okay.
Because he's always putting himself out there for Yancy before.
Oh, yeah, that's why I thought it was strange that he made the decision he made.
But when he's got to protect his friend or protect his kids,
Yeah.
you're going to choose your kids every day.
No, like I said, rocking a hard place all day long. And even Yancy's like, I'm not mad at you. Like, I obviously trust is broken. That happened. But, like, I'm not mad at you. I get what you did.
He makes up for it.
100%, yeah. Gets him out of it. And then Mendez runs like a scared little girl. But yeah, no, so I thought that was interesting. One, I thought it was really, like, bold and kind of comedical how Ro walks in the office and he thinks he's talking to a friend. He thinks he's talking to Sonny, like, just bro to bro, like you and I would have a conversation. Like, this doesn't leave the room kind of thing. And so he tricks him. He tricks him into talking about knowing where Yancy is. And he's like, damn it, I didn't think you were smart enough to do that. I was like, he just called you dumb to your face. That is awesome. And then, yeah, obviously, he's like, the whole thing happens where he betrays him. And that was the one thing I thought Yancy did wrong, right? He called Ro originally when he was on the run with Rosa, going to Rosa's house. And he's like, can I come to your place? And Yancy's like, no, I don't want to get involved in this, dude. Like, just stay. And even the husband's like, when you're ready to turn yourself in, like, we got you. I'll represent you. But until then, leave us alone. We're living our lives. We're going to go work out. And then
Yancy's like, I got to work out more.
Right. Yeah. I thought the same thing at that moment. But then he ends up going to his house anyway. And that's where I think kind of Yancy kind of put Ro in that position. Because Ro would have never had the opportunity to get him set up if he would have just honored the fact that the thing in the first place and, like, left him out of it, right? And just figured out another way to deal with it instead of bringing him in, getting him involved. I know he had, evidence. He had the phone. He had different things that he wanted to make sure that Ro got, but he could have done a drop point or something other than trying to, like, directly have a conversation with the man and get completely involved.
They're not spies.
Come on. They're detectives. They're smarter than that. Like, drop points and stuff like that is pretty standard at that point, at that level of cop, right?
Is it?
I would think so. Especially if, like, you're working with any kind of undercover unit or anything like that.
Well, that would make more sense. Like, if they were part of narcotics or something like that, or if they're...
Well, they're major crimes. They have to be. Otherwise, why would they be dealing with murder and fraud?
Because nothing ever happens there.
Okay. Fair enough. It's the keys.
They kind of said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want this headache. We just deal with tourist shit.
Right. Which also, I think Sonny's on the payroll somewhere. He's got to be. He wanted the arm, the cop, the sheriff that tricks him. He wanted the arm gone right away. As soon as heat comes down, he's willing to betray his so-called friends. I think either they have dirt on him or he's on the payroll, and that's why he's so easy to lean.
I think he's just an idiot in power.
You just think he's a dummy? I mean, that's the third option, right? He's just literally that dumb.
He's some lost lieutenant who ended up a sheriff.
Yeah. Some butter bar.
Yeah.
You took a left turn. It was supposed to be a right. So, yeah. I like you mentioned, though, like, it was a rock and a hard place. Ro makes a hard decision. Ultimately, Yancy goes to jail for a little bit, but then also takes the evidence that Rosa goes and gets. Also finds Neville in the back of a plane, by the way, when she goes there.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way to weave that back together. He's like, oh, cream, 2 sugars. I know you. That's cool.
I kind of forgot about him until he showed up. And
Neville is now back in Miami. He's no longer in the islands, which is great because he needs medical attention. We have Eve, Nick, Egg, they're all, and the Dragon Queen, all in cahoots now. Dragon Queen is trying to work out a deal and use that shady land that she forged as leverage to kind of get herself some money, which I thought was interesting. They tried to scam her, and she was like, don't play me a fool, which was cool.
Well, she said, does that work on the tourists?
Yeah, because it does, right? It definitely does. And so
I like their reaction to it, though. Yeah, usually it does, right? They just come clean right there on the spot and just kind of make light of it. Like, yeah, why wouldn't we try?
Right. So that's the last thing we really see with them. But now Dragon Queen, the end of the episode 6, the way it all closes out, is she's got a bag over her head. She's got abducted. But what I think may be happening, do you think that Eve and Nick are flexing on her because she flexed on them first, right? Or is the family who's she forged coming after her, right? Because there's multiple enemies, and we can, because of the nature of this show, they can be trying to mislead us, right? She has this big blowout power play with Chris or Nick and Eve. Egg's not going to do anything to her, right? I don't think Egg would.
I think it's him.
You think it's Egg?
Yeah.
See, I don't think it's Egg. I don't think Egg's gonna. He's like, I think he's falling in love with her.
Yes. But at the same time, he knows she respects power. I think it's a play.
Okay. I think we're getting misled, and I obviously always willing to be wrong in predictions.
Did you see how wounded he was when she got caught straight up lying about Neville?
She wasn't lying. He wasn't lying to her about Neville.
He wouldn't help him, even though they had this little deal thing.
Yeah, but she's sometimes a smartass, right? Like,
yeah.
And so she was just, in my opinion, she was just throwing his words back at him, being a smartass, playing with him.
He looked hurt.
Maybe. Could be. Could be. I didn't notice that. Well, what do you guys think in the comments? Do you think Egg kidnapped her? Do you think it's Nick and Eve? Or do you think it's us being misled in some way? Maybe it's the family of the house that she forged. We don't know. The property that she forged. Interesting stuff to see.
Or, knowing this show, a whole new player that we haven't seen yet.
Or a whole new player we haven't seen yet. Absolutely. But we will find out, because we will be reviewing episode 7 and the finale episode 8 next week, and we'll be diving deep into how season 1 wraps up and caps off, and I'm excited for that.
I'm waiting patiently. I haven't watched those yet.
Yeah,
even though they've been out.
Absolutely. But we're going to dive in, and we're going to check it out, and then we're going to review it right here for you guys. So appreciate you guys being here. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button below. And once you do, that's the first step in entering in to win a $50 gift card from Amazon. Second step is to comment below. What was your biggest takeaway? What did you guys love about these 2 episodes? What is your predictions about the future? Comment anything below of those things, and you'll be entered to win next month. Pull out a name live on the call next month. Let you guys know who won, as long as you guys qualify by doing those 2 things, being subscribed to our channel and then commenting below. And then, as always, we love entertainment. We love reviewing all this amazing stuff and sharing it with you. So if you guys also enjoy that stuff, we have an amazing playlist right here, which is our most watched playlist, which is our Rings of Power season 2. And then also, if Rings of Power isn't your thing, we have another playlist of amazing series that we reviewed right here. You can check it out. But until then, we'll see you guys on those videos.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.